Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, July 5th. Remember, the markets are closed on Monday for Independence Day. And this will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of quick clarification points. Number one, this price you see over here will still be changing around. That's because the market's still open for a little bit. So the candlestick you'll see over here will also be moving around. But as I said, the market's still open for a small amount of time. And I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And the next, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for you beginners out there, what that means is each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, CLVS. And just a very, very impressive day, including the last part of the day, which you can see right here as I speak is just currently breaking out. And this is exactly why I like to do these when the market is still open, because you can see that the price, as we witnessed, is just going to new highs as I speak. So timing that up perfectly. So this thing is really having a very nice breakout. And on that note, that's what I don't want to say it makes it irrelevant, because that's not true. But the only thing that makes it irrelevant is the fact that, let's squeeze this down, because this thing is absolutely beast moding as I speak. So awesome, fantastic. I'm excited that we got this going right here. Sorry about that. I had to pause the video real quick and go take care of something else. But anyways, you can see right now the price is absolutely beast moding it. So back to saying, yeah, what was kind of the downside is you already missed that breakout right there. So that is true. But as you're seeing here, after the breakout, there is all sorts of momentum that has shown up, including the last 30 minutes right here, where you have volume just surging in. So this all brings about a very interesting situation. That's the idea of a watch list, is to find interesting situations, and not just randomly buy them, but watch them, see if they behave in a way that ultimately fits your personal trading strategies. And that's what we have going on right here. So I mean, huge breakout. So the question just becomes, how much bigger is this going to get next week? I mean, are we going to be looking back and saying, geez, remember when this thing was at $2.80? You never know. Now, who knows? Maybe this is the top and it rolls back over. But again, that's a two-sided coin, because who knows? Maybe this breakout is the start of something much bigger. So it's worth at least keeping an eye on for a Tuesday and seeing how things continue to play out. Next one, BRQS. And this thing was basically a pump and dump on the day. I mean, a very ugly looking chart. So that you may be wondering, well, then why are you doing such an ugly looking chart? Why are you doing a pump and dump? Because what's happened here is it creates an interesting situation, and that has to do with this level down here at $1.65. Clearly, very ugly, a lot of panic, a lot of bloodshed, but you always wonder, and for those of you that watch videos, you've heard me say it before, there can be opportunity in the ugly. And in this situation, I'm just wondering, if this thing continues to get more ugly, could there be some sort of double bottom pattern down there at that $1.65 mark? As I was just talking about, there's no guarantees, but is this plausible? Is this a valid, thought process to have, that maybe there could be a double bottom? Yeah, absolutely. It's a unique situation. It's an interesting situation if $1.65 can be hit. So again, though, no guarantees. That's why risk management matters, especially on situations like this, where, I mean, there does seem to be quite a bit of downward selling pressure, but if it does decide to double bottom compared to what's being risked relative to what the potential upside reward is, it could produce a very worthwhile trading, setup here and, trade plan. So if you like to play these situations where something is looking really ugly and yet you're trying to time it up where things all of a sudden start to turn around, let's see if some sort of double bottom forms next week. Next one, ENDP, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watch previous videos, but if you haven't, talked about that red line there previously as an area of resistance at 60 cents, and that is significant because you can see that this afternoon the price just absolutely exploded, came back to life, made a huge move, and then, oh look, surprise, surprise, right at that red line is where the price rejected back down. But it's not like it was a complete rejection where the price rolled back over. No, it's actually now formed a little bull flag pattern here. So you have the resistance, you have the support, you have that momentum move right there, which gives us a bull flag. And it's nice that the bull flag is occurring right below that 60-cent mark, because you got to think that a lot of people have observed that and are watching it. And when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can certainly produce some very dynamic movements. So while, again, no guarantees, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price gets up to that level and then pushes up through it, that break could create some good, solid upside buying pressure? Absolutely. So again, great to see this thing come back to life. The volume came pouring back in. Not just a question of can it return back up to 60 cents and get the break. Let's see what happens. Next one, ALNA, and I'm not quite sure what to think of this one because it started off the day so well, and it did pull back. And the reason why I'm still finding it intriguing is because we do have this trend line here that you got to think a lot of people are probably going to be observing. Oops. There we go. That area right there. I mean, you look at this trend line, and I mean, it really did do a fantastic job of forecasting where potential problem points would be at on the day. So going back to the whole topic of, self-fulfilling prophecies and a lot of people watching the same dynamics, you got to think a lot of people are watching this level. And if the price can get up there and push up through it, it's valid, it's rational to think that that break could get quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. Or if you want to just play more so pullbacks and look for a potential gap close type scenario, let me change that to green to represent the support. Then you do have an interesting potential gap close location down there right around that 19-cent mark. So if you prefer to play more so pullbacks, then 19 cents is an interesting level. If you like to play those breakouts, then I definitely keep an eye on that resistance trend line right there. Next one, AMC, and again, this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that resistance trend line right there. And it's been tricky because this morning you can see opening 30 minutes, got the break up through that trend line, and the price exploded, boomed all the way up here. But then just like that, the brakes got slammed, back down the price went, dropped below that red line, and then you can see the red line went right back to acting as resistance multiple times there. And then this afternoon, once again, multiple times. So this resistance trend line is being very, very stubborn, but it's encouraging to see that when the price does break through it, I mean, the potential there for it to move relatively quickly. So continue to watch that as that main area of resistance. And then I do want to add in another area of resistance, and that'll be right up here at this level of 1385. So I'll change that and make it look a little bit different there. So 1385 would be that next key level if this trend line is broken. So keep an eye on those couple levels. As far as supports are concerned, the level that stands out to me is going to be this trend line down here, which the price is somewhat close to. So let's get that changed back to a normal line and change that to green to represent support. So keep an eye on that if you like to play more so trend line bounces and areas of support. But overall, have this wedge pattern that's formed. So it'll be interesting to see if the bulls can finally get a break to the upside next week. Real quickly, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for this free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So again, if you've been enjoying this, then certainly get signed up for the free training, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Next one, MULN, and maybe, just maybe, this big old downtrend is finally over, especially when you factor in how rough things were this morning. I mean, when you stop and think about the fact that there was a gap down, price dropped all the way down there, and now you look at where the price is essentially closed all the way back up here. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Nobody can deny that. But, I mean, you also have to give credit where credit's due. That was a very, very impressive recovery from 90 cents all the way back up to where it's at now. Very, very impressive. But now we have the question of, okay, yeah, great bounce, but is there any sort of true power behind it? And if it is going to have, if it does have true power, then it's going to start to show signs of progress, which brings about the question, okay, how are you defining progress? And I am defining progress as staying up above $1, that green line there. And the reason for that is, let's say the price goes down here, bounces around, and then starts to head back up. What would you still have in that situation? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows down there, and if you envision each of those as stair steps, well, hey, you still have, progress in the upwards direction. So that's why, in my mind, $1 is a very important level that you'd want to see the price stay above moving forward, because that just is going to allow the definition of progress to remain as staying up above $1. In terms of areas of resistance, main battleground to watch is going to be all about that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average, which currently valued up around the $1.10 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But overall, yeah, got to give credit where credit's due. Very, very impressive bounce. But now let's see if the bulls can continue to show signs of progress next week. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and it's definitely officially in just a sideways channel, so I'm going to get rid of that line here. And again, this will mean more to those that have watched past videos, but if you've heard me talk about these levels over and over again, but yet these levels continue to show up time and time again. So the first part of this sideways channel, which is right here, between these red and green lines, but the top part of the channel resistance right up there at give or take the 685 mark, and then down here at 667. I mean, I've just lost track of how many times now, including today, the prices bounce off this area as a support and bounce off that area as resistance. So as far as Tesla is concerned, it really is as straightforward and as quick as that. But the nice thing, going back to the top of self-fulfilling prophecies, when something is as straightforward as this, and when so many people can look and see, oh, wow, look at this sideways price movement, look at this sideways channel, then you're going to have lots of potential self-fulfilling prophecies, whether that be a breakout to the upside or a breakout to the downside. These are definitely one of the levels that I think the vast majority of traders are going to be watching next week. So again, 685 resistance, 667 area of support. Next, FFIE. Really like this one. Great pattern, well-defined breakout point here. So going back to the topic of those self-fulfilling prophecies, I assure you a lot of people have noticed this trend line right here, and they're going to be wondering, hey, you know, what's going on with this trend line? Let's keep a close eye on it. And since it's a resistance trend line, let's change that to red. So that area right up there, give or take, let's call it 365-ish, going to be that first initial area of resistance to watch moving forward. And then along with that, you have a nice, in fact, let's just do this. You have this area of support right here. So you have a nice upwards channel here, but the key part of this upwards channel is it's all occurring after a huge move right here. So you have this big momentum move right here, so we have ourselves a bull flag pattern, and a very solid looking bull flag pattern, and it's really just a question of, you know, can the price continue on up, and especially when you factor in the last 30 minutes of the day right here, you can see huge volume bar, so a lot of volume pouring in, great pattern, great overall uptrend and momentum, and now it's just a question, you know, next week of can all this bullishness continue, so it's certainly worth putting on a watch list. Next one, AKBA, and I should have put this one at a different location by BRQS, because same general philosophy. Yes, this is a very ugly looking chart. Nobody can deny that. I mean, to think that this thing gapped all the way up here, and then after the opening bell, just bled and bled and bled and bled, and all the way back down it went. But where it went and where it's been sitting is what makes this an interesting situation, and that has to do with you have this couple of moving averages down here, that purple line being the 50-period moving average, that pink line being the 200-period moving average. And as I've said several times before, there are no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that the price could come down in this general area, find some support, and then turn itself around? That is absolutely a plausible thought process to have. So if you are, you know, willing to honor the risk, manage those stop losses, then from a risk-reward standpoint, a very interesting situation. Because if you're wrong and this thing keeps on going down, all right, you have a controlled loss. But if it does actually turn itself back around, then you could be looking at a whole lot of upside compared to what was being risked in the first place. So yes, no doubt about it, an ugly-looking chart. But as I said earlier, there can be opportunity in the ugly. Next one, AMD, and just the downtrend in all these you know, semiconductor stocks continues. But what I like about this one is such a well-defined level. So again, one of these things where I'm not trying to proclaim that this is a great discovery, not trying to proclaim that this is some sort of, you know, secret skill or anything like that. I assure you a bunch of people are going to be watching $72.90. I mean, look at the amount of time. I'm not going to count, but just time and time again, the price went down there and bounced off that level. So does that mean that it'll for sure bounce again? No, absolutely not. So you're completely valid to think that, okay, if the price goes down there, it could bounce back up. It's valid to think from a, you know, more so a bearish side of things, that if the price comes down there and breaks down through it, that could create another sign of downwards pressure and downwards momentum. So you're going to have longs and shorts and everybody in between watching this level and wondering, and again, rightfully so, because it's a very valid spot, you know, what exactly is going to happen. And like I said, that is the idea of a watch list. Find unique situations. And in this situation, 72.90, very, very unique and certainly worth watching. I know I'll be watching it. And if the price does ultimately try to bounce, then there is another, you know, general area of resistance right up here at this upwards trend line around 74.35. But in my opinion, at least, the by far the most intriguing level is all about 72.90. So let's see if the price can hold above it or not. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, like I said earlier in the video, if you enjoyed what you see here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, July 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment below, say thanks. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're doing for July 4th weekend. But those two things, hitting the like button, leaving a simple comment below, communicate to me that you are enjoying. And as long as I know you are enjoying, then I will continue to put in the required time and effort to get this content out to you. So again, get signed up for that free class next week. Everybody take care and have a great 4th of July weekend.